Why did I decide to use an insulin pump? Hi everyone, it's Gráinne again from Thriveabetes. I've been pumping since 2010, which is just over 11 years, and I wanted to share why I chose to use an insulin pump and what the pros and cons of using one might be. So first though, I know that in a lot of cases access to insulin pumps is hugely restricted. So this video is definitely not going to be helpful for you, and I am sorry about that. I also know that insulin pumps are not for everyone. It's the right device at the right time for the right person. But if you are curious to know more about insulin pumps, I hope this video helps. So when I first heard about insulin pumps, I thought, no way. Because all I saw was how it was attached to the person all the time. And I thought, why would anybody choose that? But then my diabetes management just wasn't working on insulin pens, and I had to look at other options. And now in retrospect, I can see just how hard life on insulin pens were. So life on injections meant that every meal involved a series of calculations in my head. So first, how much carbohydrate was I about to eat? What was my glucose level? What would I be doing for the next maybe 2 to 4 hours? And then figure out how much insulin I would need to cover that period and that food. Then I would inject, eat, but I would keep watching my levels constantly. But food wasn't the only factor that affected my glucose. There was activity, stress, sleep or lack of, illness, horrible hormones, temperature, like hot day, cold day, timing of insulin, and it was exhausting to keep up. So my first insulin pump was a very basic one. It was actually the older version of this Animus pump, and it gave me more flexibility in my daily life and my quality of life. It continuously delivered insulin, and it allowed for different basal rates or background insulin at different times of the day. It also had the ability to deliver really small doses of insulin, and the biggest part, it did some of the diabetes math for me. But then came the hybrid closed loop system. In 2018, I got my first hybrid closed loop pump. So now my pump, my CGM, and an algorithm were talking to each other and automatically adjusting my insulin most of the time. So the biggest benefit is not having to think about diabetes all of the time. I have less alarms during the night, so I get more interrupted sleep. So it really has been hugely beneficial. However, there are still some advantages. I still have to accurately count carbs. I still have to plan for physical activity. I still have to deal with tech failures and carry backup diabetes supplies wherever I go. So the hybrid closed loop system has reduced a lot of the work of diabetes. However, it has not removed diabetes from my life. So now, how about you? Why did you go for an insulin pump if it was a choice offered? And would you consider one now that the technology is so much better? And also, because I almost forgot, and so there's no favoritism here, I brought my friends to the party and to the video.